Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, and I am coming at you with the very last Wreck-It Wednesday video using my very first Wreck-It Wednesday kit. And if you haven't seen me put together this kit or haven't seen the other videos in this series, it is a very boy-themed kit using Crate Paper Cool Kid and Boys Rule and Pink Paisley's Wild Child Boy Edition. And I am creating some journal cards today from my scraps. So this is also a DIY your scraps video. And what I did was I pre-cut the papers that I had that were all used already into like the smallest or like the biggest shapes that I could from like what was left of the paper. So I have a big old pile of scraps there on the right hand side of the video, and then I cut the only papers that I had that were big enough to either make a 3x4 or a 4x6 card. I cut those into 3x4 and 4x6s before I started this video, so I ended up with 6 3x4s and 4 4x6s to play with. And you can see I'm taking the white cardstock with just a little bit of mixed media on it from a failed background paper there, and I'm covering it up with paper strips. And I'll admit that I struggled just a bit with these cards only because I had to get in the right frame of mind to do them, and I had this sitting on my desk from like Saturday, all these cards cut up and ready to go, and I just could not get in the right frame of mind to make these cards until today, which is Thursday, which makes Wreck-It Wednesday a day late, but I think you'll forgive me for posting Wreck-It Wednesday on a Thursday, as long as it's up, right? So I am going through my paper scraps, and I'm trying to find things that I can cut circles out of for these. I'm making like layered circles on this yellow striped card with the mixed media paper that I have left over, and so I'm trying to find circles that will add some nice color to it. I cut out that blue circle and decided it was too dark for that card, so I just put it in the middle of that layered card, but I don't end up using it. So I just went through my paper cuts and my die cuts here and pulled out anything that I thought that I might use. So I am just going to start layering some tags and some paper strips on these papers. Now, the way that I work, the process that I go through is I have these all out together and at once, and I hop back and forth between all the different cards while I'm working. Sometimes I will work on one card and then I'll find a die cut or whatever that will go perfectly on a different card, so I hop over to that card. It just kind of is the way that my creativity flows. I don't stick with one card at a time, so if that frustrates you, I apologize, but I am going to hop back and forth between all these different cards. But the end product comes out really well, and so I hope that the video can be a little bit inspiring for you, even if you work differently than I do. So I'm gluing down these circles, and I'm going to have them coming off the edges of the paper. I really need to get some star punches and maybe some heart punches. Maybe I'll go over to the craft store today and get some, because I'm kind of getting tired of working with circles, and stars would have been really awesome on these cards, but I did not want to get out my silhouette, so I need something quicker and easier like stars. It'd be nice to find a punch that had like a big star and a medium star and a little star, a bunch of little stars, just so that I can make like star confetti. Is there a punch like that out there? If you know of one, let me know and I will buy it. So now I'm going through the chipboard and the stickers that I have from these collections, and also some more of the die cuts. And I'm just kind of pulling out anything that I think may or may not work, putting it on the card that it might work on. I pulled out my washi tape from the kit that I made. I like that little dude on that card. So what I do is I commit to things and then I go back and change them, because that is how I work. So at some point here, I'm going to start piling up cards that I'm not working on anymore. And then at the end of the video, I will go back through these cards and I will edit them, I will change them, I will make them work So I stop kind of mid-process on some of these cards to let my creativity kick in and give myself a chance to think about what it is that I want to do next. Also, I find that if I'm stuck on a card, or if I'm stuck on anything really, if I leave it, do something else, and come back to it with fresh eyes, it always kind of works better for me. So that is what I'm going to end up doing. And so I'm going to look through some of these stickers from the pink paisley line I have. There's purple in this pink paisley line that's not in the crepe paper lines, but my middle child's favorite color is purple, so I did want to incorporate some of the purple into there, so I'm finding anything purple that I can on this sticker sheet to make sure that there's more than just like one little tiny pop of purple. And I do end up finding a chipboard star down the line that I will add to it that's purple, and I think that that really helped incorporate the purple rather than make it stand out. So this is where I'm going, okay, I need to start stacking these up because I'm not inspired by them, so I need to work on other ones and come back to them. So I wanted to make sure that that Game Boy really stood out in the middle of this card, although my plan with this card is to add a photo later on. So I'm not sure if that Game Boy is really going to be there when this card is said and done. But for adding what I'm adding to it now, I really wanted to make sure you could see that Game Boy. So I'm kind of working around it. I pulled out some more, or I actually organized my die cuts that I had pulled out so that I could access them easier. So that's what that little break in the video was. And I'm going to put this gamer down. My kids and my husband are all gamers, so this gamer card will definitely come in handy. Now I'm looking for anything to add to this card. I'm just really struggling with it, I think, and it's bugging me. I think this is another one I end up coming back to a couple times, and I'm not going to incorporate that little guy. He does not fit on there. Looking for stickers, again, not finding any. So moving on to a different card because that was bugging me. My kids are all a bit old for the dinosaur motif now, but I don't know if anybody else does this, but my kids all have like spirit animals when they are little. My oldest was a monkey, my middleest was a mouse, and my youngest was a dinosaur. So yeah, this dinosaur, even though he's a little old for the motif, I am going to put it on there and find a picture of him that'll work with this wild thing kind of sentiment. Because, yeah, that's his animal. So now I fussy cut out that cool and that camera, and I don't end up using it on that card, so I just like cut out that whole process because it's not relevant. I'm going to add some paper banners to this mixed media card, and I actually leave this one pretty blank with the intention of A, coming back and adding journaling, or B, coming back and adding photos. I hate to do that on videos where I'm supposed to be making all these pre-prepared cards, but I really thought that this one would lend itself really well to a photo rather than a trying to fill it up with like word art or whatever. You know, I like to leave a few cards that are like prepared for adding, actually all of them are prepared for adding things to them later. So you'll find that I'm only working really with die cuts and chipboard and a few like puffy word stickers, because what I end up doing to make it work on whatever spread I'm incorporating it into is I end up adding like the puffy sticker hearts or enamel dots or whatever I am working with at the time to add it cohesively to the spread. So none of these cards are finished. None of them will be left exactly the way that they are. They're all just foundations for a layout later on down the line where I can add to them and make them work with whatever I'm scrapbooking. So yeah, so some of them are going to be a little bit blank. Some of them are definitely going to have spaces left for, you know, adding on down the line. And if you watch my channel regularly, you will see me incorporate some of these cards into future spreads, and it all comes full circle then, if that makes sense. So I struggled with this one. I'm trying to work that beep boop into there, but yeah, it doesn't work. So once I get that beep boop off, then I make this card work better. And I love that little robot guy. And it doesn't make much sense for like a motif for my kids. Like, they are into STEM and they're all hopefully going to STEM schools next year. But robots aren't really like what they're into, but he's so cute. I thought he would work for any sort of like Lego pictures or even gamer pictures, and I really wanted to work with him, so I made a little card, and it says on it, my little guy, or wait, let's see, my little man. So even if it's just a picture of Finn next to the robot, the cute little robot, it'll work. And I just left that one with that acetate alphabet on it with the mixed media in the background. And I figured that would be a good school or homework, something like that card where I can add like a label to it later or whatever. So I'm just going to leave that one as it is. And then I liked this Made You Look card. I'll, you know, incorporate it with some picture of my kids doing something funny or whatever down the line. And I liked incorporating a little bit of this lime green in here. Okay, so now's the time where I'm going to go through and I'm going to start adding things to these cards that I feel are unfinished. So this one gets edited. I move the robot up, and I'm going to add a little journaling strip to the bottom here. And I feel like this white doesn't stand out enough as it is, so I'm going to add some of this black and white tape behind it. And this is a whole process, so I'm just going to cut out most of this process because I don't know why, but it took me a lifetime to get everything centered. Yeah, total torture. But I do get it centered eventually. And it didn't want to stick to that tape, so I'm going to have to figure out a better way to stick it to that tape down the line. So I'm auditioning things on this card that I just don't feel are going to work. So I just end up leaving that card the way that it is. I'm going to add number 1 to this. This is my gamer card. That one's done. Okay, this one needs some work because I like the way that it looks, but that blank spot at the top of that Never Stop Exploring, that is bugging the crap out of me. And I just feel like it was poor design more than anything. I don't know. Looking at it with a designer's eye, it really, really bugs me, all of that space. Just everything about this little tag bugs me. So I don't know why I used it, but I did because I liked the sentiment. And so I'm trying to minimize that space. And I kind of get it to work. I'm not sure that I'm crazy happy with the finished product, but it definitely looks better in the end than what I had to begin with. So I'm going to cut out this tape, and I'm actually going to cut it down the middle and stick it to itself, and I'm using the tape as a ribbon for that hole in the tag. So I'm going to stick it through. It's not sticky anymore because I stuck the two sticky sides together, and I'm just going to staple it just like that. And I thought that that added some much needed grounding to the card with the black, but I still, that space between the hole and the Never Stop Exploring is just bugging the crap out of me. So I'm going to find some of these stars and this like thing that says Cool Kid, and I'm going to minimize that space as much as possible. There we go. Sometimes the designer in me can be way, 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 way more picky than the scrapper in me. And yeah, it causes problems. So I like this little dude, but I really wanted to incorporate this camera. So I cut that little dude hexagon in half, and then I put it on the top and the bottom, but I felt like it wasn't like working well with just the hexagon like put back the way that it was. So I offset them and tilted them and then added some star washi tape. Okay, now this is the last hurdle I have. This card was bugging the crap out of me, and I tried to incorporate those skateboards, but they look like Band-Aids to me when I was trying to work them in. And so this boys rule sentiment, I like the way that it looks, but the girl in me does not love boys rule. So I decided to change the sentiment and make it nice boys rule so that I could like scrapbook a story about my kids being good or nice or whatever. But then because the nice was also black, I was trying to make the like add that yeah at the bottom so that the black would be more distributed, and it was just too much black. So what I end up doing is I'm going to take that nice off. First I'm going to try and rearrange everything. And then I'm going to take the nice off and I'm going to rework this card, and instead of having that nice at the top, I'm going to get some alphabet stickers. See, here's the Band-Aids. They just look like Band-Aids to me. It just did not work. Anyway, I'm going to take that nice off the top, and I'm going to use alphabet stickers instead so that I can minimize some of that black, and they're going to be Pink Fresh Studio blue puffy stickers, and that will work much better. I pulled out the yellow first, but you know, I ended up using the blue to match that blue paper at the top. There we go. And then it says, nice boys always rule. So that I enjoyed much better as a sentiment than boys rule. And this says so proud, which I thought was perfect for a story like that. And I think we are just about done. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And this is the last Wreck-It Wednesday video with this kit, so keep an eye out next week for a brand new Wreck-It Wednesday kit that I will smash and bash until it is dead and I've used it all. All right, thank you.